Hey there, first grade. How's everybody doing today? And welcome back to another remote learning math lesson with Mr. Enzi. Today, we are going to need our number line sheet protector. So this is one of our math mats that has a bunch of number lines on it. Any number line will do, but I just found this one and I think this is a pretty good one for today. So you want to search for that math mat, place it inside your sheet protector because I'm about to shrink myself into the corner. Today we are going to be doing grade 1 lesson 6.2, comparing numbers of pennies. And you will need your number line math mat placed inside of your sheet protector. So today, this is a review skill. These are comparison number stories. When we compare, we think about how many we have, and then we think about how many somebody else has. Who has more, who has less, how many more, or how many less. So let's take a look as we do some practice problems for this review skill. The directions say, to circle who has more pennies. Use an addition number model to find the difference. And now here's our story. Nick has 3 pennies. You can see Nick's 3 pennies. 1, 2, 3. Braden has 7 pennies. Here's Braden's 7 pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who has more pennies? Well, that's not a hard problem. We know that Nick has 3, Braden has 7, and 7 is greater than 3. So I'm going to circle Braden's name because Braden has more pennies. Now, the next question is, how many more pennies does he have? So I want to show you how we solve a problem like this. Since Nick has 3 pennies, I can put a dot at the number 3. You can do that also on your number line. Put a dot at the number 3, because that's how many pennies Nick has. Now, Braden has 7 pennies, so I'm going to put a dot at 7. On the same number line. So I have a dot at the 3 tick mark, and I have a dot at the 7 tick mark. Now when I want to find how many more pennies, all I have to do is make hops and connect the dots. I can count up. 3 plus 1, 2, 3, 4 would equal 7. So there's 4 more pennies that Braden has. Now, we've learned before also that we can match up our pennies. These pennies can go together. These pennies can go together. These pennies can go together. And here's our extra pennies. These are the more pennies. And notice when we hopped on our number line, we were counting all the extra pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, our addition number model is when we start with our smaller number. We started at 3, because that's how many Nick had. And we added up a mystery number. See that? And we landed on 7. So we put a dot at 3. Here's our 3. We put a dot at 7. Here's our 7. And we had to find how many hops we made. And we made 4 hops. How many more pennies? 4 pennies more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome job. Let's try another one. You can go ahead and clear off your sheet protector. Here's our next one. Now this one will look just a little bit different because you'll notice that I didn't put all the little pennies because now we're working on some bigger numbers. Here's our story. Logan has 11 pennies. Let's put a dot where the number 11 is. So there's my dot. Heaven has 15 pennies. Let's put a dot where the 15 number is. Up here's my 15. Who has more pennies? Well, we can look on our number line because you can see that Mr. Renzi put a bar, and that bar stretches to 11 pennies. And then I put another bar, and this bar stretches to 15 pennies. You can see that the 15 pennies is longer than the 11 pennies. So heaven has more pennies. Now, how many more pennies does heaven have? Well, we're going to start at 11, and we're going to hop up until we get to 15, and we're going to be counting. So let's see. Let's start at 11 and make our first hop. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many more pennies? 4 more pennies. Now let me show you how to do it without a number line. I put the smaller number in the rock, 11, and I count up until I hear 15. So I'm on 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. How many fingers am I holding up? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can do this on a number line, or we can do it using our rock. Now, our addition number model, well, we started with the number 11. That's our smaller number. That's the number we put in the rock. And we counted up a mystery number. We just didn't know how many more. And then we stopped when we got to the number 15. 11 in the rock, 12, 13, 14, 15. How many more pennies? 4 more pennies. That's called counting up. Awesome job. Go ahead and clear off your sheet protector. Let's try another one. This one is about Sadie and Quinn. Sadie has 18 pennies. Well, let's put a dot at the number 18. Quinn has 13 pennies. Let's put a dot at the number 13. Now, Mr. Enzi put the bars so that you can see. The 18 pennies starts all the way at the beginning and goes to the number 18. And then I put a bar for my 13 pennies, and it starts at the beginning and it stops at the number 13. You don't have to draw your bars, but I wanted to show you how long each of those numbers is. Who has more pennies? Sadie or Quinn? Sadie has more bars, so we would circle Sadie's name. Now, we're going to use our number line to figure out how many more. And we always start at that smaller number because we can count up. So let's start at 13. Marker on 13. Let's hop until we hit the number 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I landed on the number 18. How many more pennies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more pennies. Now, I can do this on my hand. I could put my smaller number in the rock, 13 in the rock, and I'm going to count up from 13 until I hear 18. So I'm at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. How many did I count? I counted up 5 more times. So our addition number model, we'd start at our smaller number, which is 13. We had to count up a mystery number. We just didn't know how many hops we would have to make, but we would stop on the number 18. How many more? 13 in the rock, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 5 more pennies. Awesome job! Today, we compared amounts of pennies, and we used a strategy called counting up. We did it on our number line. We even practiced using the rock. And then we wrote an addition number model to show how we would solve it. You're going to have some practice problems to do in Seesaw. Go ahead and get started, because I can't wait to see how smart you are.